I cheated on my wife, and days later, she disappeared. At first, I thought she left me. But then came the bloodstains, the journal, and the media knocking on my door. What started as a private affair became national news. I became the monster in every headline. But the truth? It was far worse than anyone knew. She planned it all, and I fell for it. To my loyal subscribers, thank you for being here. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any twist in this shocking true story. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and help bring more bold, heart-racing stories like this to life. Now let's begin. My name is Michael Carter. I'm a 37-year-old architect living in Missouri, and I'm about to tell you how my wife ruined my life, but not in the way you think. Amy was beautiful. Blonde hair, big blue eyes, always smiling at the right people. She came from old money. Her dad was a judge. Her mom taught piano and played hostess to rich social clubs. Amy had that kind of grace you see in old movies, perfect posture, soft voice, smart but quiet. When I met her, I was just a broken turn. I had nothing, but she loved me anyway. Or so I thought. We got married after 2 years of dating. At first, everything felt right. We had dinner parties, vacationed in Maine, and laughed over wine and jazz records. People told me I was lucky, and I believed them. But something about Amy never fully clicked. It was in the way she watched people too carefully, or how she never seemed surprised, like she already knew what you were going to say. Still, I ignored it. Because I was the one with secrets. I started the affair with a woman named Rachel about a year before Amy disappeared. Rachel was 29, a redhead, sharp-tongued, and confident. We met during a design pitch for a new hotel. She worked PR. I was charmed and weak. One late night turned into two. Then it became a habit. I kept telling myself I'd end it. But Rachel was like fire in the cold. Amy was perfection. Rachel was chaos. And I wanted both. Until the morning Amy vanished. That day started like any other. She made me eggs, kissed me on the cheek, told me not to forget the dry cleaning. When I came home, she was gone. Her phone was still charging. Her purse was on the kitchen counter. Her car was in the garage. But no Amy. I called the police. At first, it was just a missing person. They asked if she had a mental illness, if she'd been upset lately. I said no. I said she was happy. But then came the blood. A small smear on the kitchen floor. Barely noticeable. But once they found it, everything changed. Detectives started looking at me differently. They asked about our marriage. About other women. I denied everything. At first. Then Rachel showed up. Not at my house, at the police station. She confessed about the affair. Said she hadn't seen me since last week. Told them she thought Amy might have found out. I don't know why she did it. Guilt, maybe. Or fear. Either way, I was done for. The media exploded. Wife vanishes, husband cheated. Cameras outside our home. Reporters chasing me to work. My parents stopped answering. Friends disappeared. Then I found the journal. It was in the attic, wrapped in an old sweater box, like a gift. The first page read, "If anything happens to me, blame Michael." And that was just the beginning. Written in plain and simple English, as told by Michael Carter, an American man reflecting on his life, his marriage, and the haunting aftermath of infidelity. After they found the blood, I stopped sleeping. Even when I closed my eyes, I'd see flashes Amy's face in the kitchen that morning, her half-smile, the way her hair was tucked behind one ear. I'd hear the clink of her coffee cup, the creak of the fridge door, the gentle way she said, "Don't forget the dry cleaning." Then just silence. The cops came back with a search warrant. They tore through our house, closets, drawers, the crawl space, even the garden. They asked again if I had ever hit her. I hadn't. Not once. But that didn't matter now. What mattered was that I was the last person to see her. And I was sleeping with someone else. I had to confess the affair. They already knew anyway. Detective Reynolds sat across from me, looking tired, like a man who's seen one too many husbands crack. "Mr. Carter," he said, "we found your fingerprints on the broken vase near the entryway. Was there a fight?" "There was no fight," I said, my voice dry. "That vase broke a week ago. I was trying to fix it. You can ask Amy's mom." But they didn't believe me. Not really. And then, the note came. It was slipped under our front door. No return address. No postage. Just a plain white envelope with my name on it, Michael. Inside was a single sheet of lined paper, written in Amy's perfect handwriting. "You think you know me. You never did. I'm not running from you. I'm running to the truth. Let's see if you can handle it." My hands trembled as I read it over and over. It wasn't a goodbye. It wasn't a threat. It was something else, something colder. Like she was watching me. Waiting. I handed it to the police. They couldn't confirm it was real. No fingerprints. No DNA. No camera footage of anyone near the front porch. Rachel came over the next night. She was shaking, crying, wearing sunglasses even though it was almost dark. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know it would blow up like this. I thought it would just help find her." "You think making me look like a killer helps anyone?" I snapped. Her lips quivered. "You told me she didn't know about us. What if she did? What if she planned this to punish you?" That idea hit me like a brick. Amy was smart. Scary smart. She could solve puzzles faster than I could read them. She remembered details from conversations I didn't even know I had. And she was quiet, so quiet, that you sometimes forgot she was even in the room. Could she really plan something like this? I found myself going back to her journal. I started reading it at night, with a flashlight, like a child hiding under a blanket. The entries weren't what I expected. No recipes. No gossip. No Dear Diary nonsense. They were strategic. Michael lies. He thinks I don't know, but I always do. His tells are small. Tight lips, no eye contact, that nervous cough. I track everything now. Gas receipts. Timestamps. Mileage. She was watching me. He doesn't know I've seen the redhead. She thinks she's smart, leaving no lipstick, wearing cheap perfume. I've seen her get into his car. I followed them once. Just once. That was enough. I felt sick. Amy knew. The whole time. But the worst part came next. If I vanish, he will be blamed. It's the only way. And I will be safe. Safe. Safe from what? From me? I had never hurt her. Not once. I raised my voice maybe twice in 5 years. I never pushed, never hit, never even cursed at her. But to Amy, betrayal was violence. And she wanted me punished. That night, I stood in our kitchen, staring at the spot where the blood had been found. I felt like I was being hunted in my own home. Not by police. Not by the media. By Amy. Wherever she was. If she was even alive. The next morning, I got a call from Detective Reynolds. "Mr. Carter," he said, "we found something. You need to come in." My heart dropped. Was it a body? Was it Amy? When I got to the station, they showed me security footage. A grainy black and white clip from a gas station 3 towns over. A woman in a hoodie, wearing sunglasses, filling up a rental car. She turned slightly toward the camera. It was Amy. Clear as day. "Is that your wife?" Reynolds asked. I stared at the screen. It was. But I couldn't say it out loud. Because if she was alive, then the real game had just begun. When I walked back into our house that night, the silence felt heavier than ever. It was the kind of quiet that presses against your chest, makes it hard to breathe. Amy's voice wasn't echoing through the hallway. Her slippers weren't by the door. And yet, she was everywhere. I kept replaying the grainy security footage in my mind. Her face. Her posture. Her decision to disappear. If she was alive, then this was no kidnapping. No break-in. No tragic accident. This was a setup. And I was the target. I went upstairs and pulled the old trunk from under the bed. It had her journals, 5 years' worth. Amy wrote everything down. At first, I thought it was just a hobby. But reading through those pages now, I realized it was a plan. A map she'd been drawing for years. Her words cut sharper than any knife. Michael is everything I wanted at first. Funny. Charming. Handsome in a crooked smile kind of way. But he lies with the ease of a man who's done it forever. He thinks I don't see it, but I do. Every single time. I didn't want to be that wife, the one who checks pockets and phone records. But I became her. Slowly. Quietly. Because I had to. The affair didn't shock me. It confirmed what I already knew. Michael is not the man he pretends to be. And now he'll learn I'm not either. I sat back, stunned. She knew about Rachel for a long time. And instead of confronting me, she wrote this, like a courtroom testimony in spiral-bound pages. But there was more. Amy described things in the diary that never happened. He slammed me against the wall during an argument. Said I was worthless. Called me names I won't write here. I locked myself in the bathroom, shaking. He didn't even knock to check. None of that was real. None. But it sounded real. And I knew, deep in my gut, this wasn't a diary anymore. It was evidence. Planted evidence. If she ever went missing, and now she had, it would lead the cops straight to me. She planned this. Amy wanted revenge. She didn't just want to punish me. She wanted to erase me. The next day, I was called back to the police station. They had more questions. They had read the journal. Detective Reynolds didn't look me in the eye when he said, "She wrote some serious things in here, Michael. Domestic violence. Fear for her life. Why didn't you tell us she was afraid of you?" "She wasn't," I said. "That's not real. None of that happened." Reynolds just closed the folder slowly. "We'll be verifying everything." I felt like the walls were closing in. Amy hadn't just disappeared. She'd left a trail designed to make me look like the devil. And if I didn't find a way to prove she was alive, I'd be spending the rest of my life behind bars. That night, Rachel came by again. She was shaking. "They're calling me to testify," she whispered. "They think I'm part of this." "You're not," I said. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. "Michael." "Amy didn't just disappear. She vanished. Like a ghost. You said she was controlling, but this is next level." I wanted to believe Amy was still out there, alive. But part of me was scared. Not that she was dead, but that she was 10 steps ahead, watching me burn from the shadows. And then came the final blow. A package arrived on the doorstep. No return label. Just my name. Inside, Amy's wedding ring, wrapped in a tissue. And underneath it, a note. "This is what betrayal costs." I sat on the floor of our living room, holding Amy's wedding ring in my hand. The metal felt cold. Too cold. It was like I was holding proof of my failure, of everything I'd done wrong. But more than that, it felt like a message. A challenge. Amy was saying, "I know what you did, and I'm not done." Rachel had left hours ago, after swearing she would cut off all communication. Not because she didn't care, but because she was scared. She didn't want to be dragged any deeper into this mess. I didn't blame her. Honestly, I didn't want to be in it either. But I had no choice. I was the husband of the missing woman. The cheating husband. The man who'd lied to the cops and now had a fake domestic violence journal pinned to his name. Public opinion was already turning. The media was digging through our photos, twisting every image into a headline. Amy Carter, the smiling victim. Michael Carter, the husband with too many secrets. I stayed locked inside for days after the ring came. Reporters were outside. Police were circling back with questions I couldn't answer. Then one night, just after midnight, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I hesitated, but picked up. A woman's voice, soft, controlled. "Michael." I nearly dropped the phone. It was Amy. Alive. "Amy, where are you? Are you okay?" "Don't say another word," she said quickly. "They're listening. They're always listening. Why are you doing this?" I whispered. "You cheated. You lied. You made me feel invisible," she said. "Now you know what it feels like. But this is insane. You're framing me for murder." "I never said murder," she replied. "That's what they're choosing to believe. And maybe they're right too." She hung up. I stared at the screen, heart pounding, hands shaking. Amy wasn't just punishing me, she was rewriting the story. Turning our life into a dark novel, with her as the wronged heroine and me as the villain. And the worst part? She was doing it brilliantly. I couldn't sleep after that call. Couldn't eat. I just kept thinking, what's her endgame? Is she going to let me rot in prison? Is she going to kill herself and leave everything pointed at me? Or is she waiting for the perfect time to reappear? I had to do something. The next day, I met with a private investigator named Dale Monroe. Ex-cop, slick attitude, but sharp as hell. "You think your wife faked her own disappearance?" he asked. "She's alive. She called me." Dale leaned forward. "You got proof?" "No," I admitted. "She made sure of that." "Well," he said, cracking his knuckles, "if she's out there, I'll find her. But if what you're saying is true, then your wife isn't just angry. She's dangerous." That word stuck with me. Dangerous. I always thought Amy was dramatic, intense, a little obsessive. But I never imagined she could turn her pain into a weapon. A week later, Dale called with a lead. "Your wife's friend from college? Greta? She just made a large cash deposit at a motel in Missouri." Is who checked in under the name Nancy Drew. My blood ran cold. Amy. She was alive, hiding in plain sight. Now we had a chance. But as Dale packed for the trip to track her down, I couldn't help wondering. Was I the hunter or the prey? There's a certain silence that comes when your life stops making sense. That was the sound in my head the morning Dale called me from Missouri. "She's here," he said. "You're sure?" "She used a fake name." "Yeah, but I saw her. She dyed her hair. Lost some weight. But it's Amy. I'm watching her now." I didn't know whether to cry or scream. A part of me still loved her. Another part wanted to see her arrested. But the part that won out, the deepest part, just wanted the nightmare to end. Dale followed her for days. She had a routine. Groceries, coffee shops, a gym, a second-hand bookstore. She was calm, collected, not hiding in fear, hiding in control. He gathered proof. Photos, video, even a receipt from a gas station where she used her real birthday for a loyalty card. It was enough. I handed everything to Detective Ramos. 2 days later, they knocked on her motel door. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She looked at them and said, "It's about time." The media had a field day. Runaway wife returns, the real story behind the Carter case. Amy Carter faked disappearance and revenge plot against husband. Gone girl in real life? They arrested her, but she posted bail quickly. She hired a top attorney. Claimed she had a mental breakdown. That she didn't fake anything. That she just left to find herself. But the evidence Dale collected was too solid. The police found her storage unit, full of notebooks, disguises, wigs, and photos of me and Rachel. One folder labeled, "He must learn." She had planned everything. The trial was public, brutal. She cried on the stand, claimed I abused her emotionally, played old videos of us arguing, twisting them into something darker. But the truth came out. Rachel testified. Dale testified. Even Greta admitted Amy had lied to her, saying it was all performance art. In the end, the jury didn't charge her with attempted murder, but she was convicted of fraud, obstruction, and falsifying police reports. She was sentenced to 5 years, served 18 months. And me? I lost everything. Rachel never came back. She said she couldn't handle the aftermath, couldn't trust that I wouldn't get pulled into darkness again. My job let me go during the scandal. My parents barely spoke to me. People still looked at me like I was guilty, even after Amy was exposed. That's the thing about a good lie. It sticks. So why am I telling you this? Because infidelity doesn't just end with a broken heart or a divorce. Sometimes it unravels your entire life. Sometimes the person you hurt hurts you back in ways you never imagined. I was a selfish man. I betrayed my vows. But I never saw the storm coming. Amy taught me that. Not with words, but with silence, shadows, and a performance so twisted, it changed me forever. Thank you to all my subscribers and loyal listeners. If you've been through betrayal, pain, or secrets that turned your world upside down, I see you. I hear you. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue sharing these unforgettable, real-life dramatic stories. Your support helps bring the next voice to light. Until next time, stay safe, stay honest, and never underestimate the one you hurt. That's the end.